I have questions on English language. So I hope you will help us because we are still practicing to improve our speaking. And I am also trying to speak like natives. It's very hard things. So I have some words and some sentence, and that is some common expressions we are using in our day-to-day life. And
Yes.
you will say in a different way how you are speaking and how you are talking in the different way. How are you? Instead of how are you, how you express this same words, the same sentence in the different way. How are you? For
Okay.
example,
I'm going to use the chat window.
Okay, sure.
That's one way you can say it differently.
How is it going?
How's it going? Yeah, and you can put those two words together, how and is.
Oh, how's it going?
How's it going?
How is it going?
Yeah. So in English, when you put two words together, it's called a contraction. So there are lots of words like that where you put the subject and the verb together, and instead of saying how is, you say how's. How's it going?
How is it going?
Yeah.
Yes, I think there are so many expressions. I think you can also express that things mean what's up. What about what's up? Is the same thing?
Yeah. Okay.
What's up? What's up? Yeah.
Yeah. But you got to be careful because if you put those words too close together, it's harder to understand. So try and say each word separately. What's up? What's up? Because otherwise it sounds like what's up?
What's up? Yeah. What's
Yeah.
up?
If it's too close together, it's hard to understand.
Yes. So what's going on? Is this the same questions? What's going on?
Yeah. So these are all so when you start saying things like what's up or what's going on, you're getting more into let's see, what's the best word to express this? So it's more and more familiar, you know. If you say how are you, it's very formal. You can say that to anybody anywhere. When you start getting into more familiar forms like what's up or what's happening, that's another one here.
Yes. So yeah, somebody asked me how are you, I'm responding I'm fine, or I'm also responding sometimes I'm fantastic, I'm good. So instead of that, can we use another sentence?
To respond instead of saying I'm fine?
Yes.
Okay. So it depends on how well you know the person. So a lot of times people will, when they say how are you, they really don't know, they really don't want to know very much. It's almost like saying hello. So very common, at least here in the United States, people say how are you, and the general response is I'm fine, how are you? Well, that doesn't really mean anything. You're not giving any information to the person. It's just like saying hello. But if it's somebody that you know pretty good and you really want to let them know, I mean, you can tell them what's going on in your day, something that's happened to you recently. If you're feeling sad or you're feeling happy, you know, all those can be responses to how are you?
Yes, if I'm talking with my friend and I know about to him or her, then I can use I'm fantastic, I'm fine, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So sometimes we
Yeah.
also use not bad, not bad,
Not bad. Mm-hmm.
and
Not bad.
not bad. Yeah. Nothing more. Sometimes we also use nothing more.
Yes. So it really depends on how much information you want to communicate.
Yeah.
You know, If it's just a kind of a way of saying hello, then
Mm-hmm.
you can say I'm fine or everything is okay. But if it's a friend of yours and you feel comfortable sharing information with that person, then you can tell them how you're feeling and or something that's been happening with you recently. But normally, when you say how are you, it's just a way of saying hello.
Yes. So do you
Does that
use,
make sense?
yes, yes, it makes sense. So do you use this sentence, if instead of response, I'm fantastic or I'm fine, better than fantastic would be understatement. Would better than
Well, an
fantastic.
understatement means it means that how can I explain that? So if you say somebody says to you, let's just say somebody says, "How are you?" and you just um, you know what a lottery is? No.
Lottery.
Let's just say you won a lot of money, okay?
Yes.
And your friend knows you won a lot of money. So he says, "How are you?" And you say, "Okay." That would be an understatement because really you're doing very well because you won a lot of money. So an understatement is communicating a lower response than what is really happening with you. Okay, that's an understatement. All
Yes.
right. You
Sometimes we
can
also
also do
use,
that in
yeah,
you
we
can
also,
also do that in the opposite direction. An overstatement means
yeah,
that you are exaggerating
yes,
something.
yes. If you will ask me, how are you? Can I say amazing? I'm amazing. I'm
Yeah. If it's
incredible.
true, a lot of these words they are emotional words. Okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody's asking you how you are, you want to try and tell them that, as close to the truth as you can. Um, if you're feeling amazing or you're feeling fantastic, that's good to say it. But if you're feeling sad and you say I'm fantastic,
Yes,
it's a it's
it's
a
not.
contradiction.
Yeah, it's not appropriate, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about the phenomenon?
Phenomenon.
Yes.
Phenomenal is a very strong word.
Yeah.
Okay. If you say phenomenal, that means you're doing very, very, very good.
Oh,
Okay. So a lot of these words are they have a degree of um, emotional meaning. So if you say I'm okay, all right, that's this level. I'm fantastic. Oh, it's this level. If you say phenomenal,
so
it's this high.
the
You
higher
see?
level. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think
So it
that,
depends on what you're feeling.
yeah. So is this words in common in America? I think it's common in British phenomenon.
It's common among friends.
Oh, among
If it's
friends.
like somebody that you work with and you
Yeah.
don't have a good, you're not a really good friend of that person.
Mm-hmm.
In America, when people say, "How are you?" to people that they really don't know very well, it's just a way of saying hello. It's like you said hello.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you say, "How are you?" The person says, "Fine," and says to you, "How are you?" And you say, "Fine." And then you go and do whatever it is you're going to do. But it doesn't really mean anything. When you get these other responses like fantastic or phenomenal, normally you're going to use those words with people that you know that you're friends with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so today I have to earn some smart English expressions that we can use instead of these ordinary expressions. So I
Yeah.
hope you are expressing very well. So I have lots of questions, but I have to ask you few questions relating on this. So instead of okay, what do you say instead of okay? You can say also I understand. Okay-doky, we also use any other expressions if you have. So what do you use in America basically instead of
Hmm.
okay?
Um, Well, it kind of depends on the question. Um, you can say, if somebody's just communicating some information to you, okay? Somebody
Yeah.
says to you, Lila, I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. And you say, okay.
Okay, yes.
You can also say,
Sure. We can also say sure.
yeah.
We can also use indeed. Indeed. Can we use
Indeed.
Yeah.
So basically, you're just acknowledging when you use these expressions, you're trying to acknowledge the fact that you have received the information that the other person is telling you. So the person gives you some information, and when you say okay, what you're saying is, I heard what you said and I understand. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So you can say, got it, sure.
Got it. Sure. Certainly. Certainly.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it is very common.
Yeah, I got it. It's very common. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You're just acknowledging the fact that they've communicated some information to you and you understand what they said.
yes. So where we can use the okay-doky, okay-doky, okay-doky.
Okay, that's very familiar. It's not, Americans don't use this expression very much anymore. It's more of an older expression.
Mhm.
It's from another time. So you can say it, but most people will laugh if you say that. They'll laugh because it's an old expression that nobody hardly uses anymore.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so then another questions. I think. Can you use another expression? I think. Instead of I think, we can also use in my opinion, in my point of view.
Yes, yes. All those are good. I was just going to write down, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can also say, I think you just said this.
From my point of view.
Yeah.
Yes, we are using this. In my
Yes.
point of view, it's in my opinion.
Yes.
It
Those are all good.
it seemed to me that we are
Yeah.
also use
Yes.
this. It seemed to me that. And
Yeah. So when you use these kinds of expressions,
mhm.
you're not, you're trying to say, lots of people have lots of ideas about any given topic. And you're just trying to say, well, the way I think is this. Okay. So it's a way of kind of softening. Sometimes people say things and they say them very direct.
Yes.
For example, you see a lady with a baby.
Yeah.
And the lady, wants you to say something about her baby. But the baby's not very pretty. So you say, wow, your baby's very ugly.
Yeah.
That would be very direct.
Yes.
You could say, I think, or, in my opinion, you have a beautiful baby. It's a way of softening things, of not being so direct. People know that if you say, from my point of view, or in my opinion, that you are also saying there are lots of ways to see this, but the way I see it is this way. Okay. It's good to use this kind of expression because it shows that you're open to other people's ideas.
Yeah. So
does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense to me. And it will easy for me if you also express and if you also use any other common words. For example, it is easy. It is easy for me. It's easy for me. Can you use another words in different way or in different sentence? It is easy. Instead of it is easy, we can also use It's a piece of cake for me.
Yeah, again, that's it's an expression that's not being used a lot.
Mhm.
You can say it's a piece of cake, but
It's
especially coming from a non-native English speaker, it's going to sound funny. You can say, not a problem for me.
not a problem for me. Oh, I got it. Not a problem for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a lot of expressions that are very familiar, and
Mhm.
you have to be careful when you use those expressions because they can get you into trouble. If you say, you know, it really depends on your command of the language. Because a lot of the more familiar expressions are very much depend on the context of the conversation, what you're talking about.
Yeah, on the context and
So,
on the situation.
yeah. So I would say be careful.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
you're speaking in a foreign, I learned how to speak French and German,
Hmm.
and I realized after a certain time that there were some expressions in those languages that if I said them,
Hmm.
even though they made sense, it sounded really funny that I should say that because I wasn't a native speaker, and some of those expressions can have two meanings,
Hmm.
and you have to really understand the language quite well to make sure that you're not saying something that you do not want to say.
Oh, yes.
So just be careful.
Yeah.
You know,
When
the
we,
more
yeah,
the
when
more
we,
familiar the expression,
yeah,
it gets to be a little bit tricky.
yes, yes. Yeah. So when we use those words, we should be careful. We should know that situations and the time because these are the common expressions. Yes. So for
And you
example,
can you can you
yeah.
can buy you can on the internet, or you can get lists of these kinds of expressions. There are many, many, many in any language.
Yes,
Um,
yes. Yeah, yeah. I
but
got it.
when you get into the more familiar kinds of expressions, that's where you have to be very careful because you can get into trouble. You can say something that you don't want to say.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's raining hard. Can you use any idioms, any other idioms? I think we can use any other idioms. Maybe I can find from Google instead of
This is this the sentence that you asking about?
yeah, it's raining hard.
Yeah. There are ways to say that are more familiar, but again, it will sound funny if you say it. So here's one. Oops, sorry. I made a typo there. It's raining cats and dogs.
Yes,
This
it's
is
raining.
very, very familiar.
Yes, it's a idioms. I think it's a idioms of it's raining hard.
Yeah, I think for that expression, that's that's good. I mean, it's a very factual, very tangible statement. It's like it's hot, it's raining,
Mhm.
it's cold. I think probably the best is just to say that, and then to try and find, because it doesn't add anything to try and use an idiom for that. I mean, you can modify that by saying it's raining harder. It's been raining a lot, or it's raining all the time. But really, it's just a fact that you're communicating. So there's no real reason to try and find an idiom for that.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I'm doing attention on you to listen all the things. So I'm listening you. I'm listening you. Instead of I'm listening, can we use any other sentence?
Uh-huh. Okay. In this case, you do need that little word. So it would be, I'm listening to you.
I'm listening to
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can also say, I hear you.
Yes, I hear you. Exactly.
You know, what you're trying to do is you're trying to tell the other person that you understand what they are saying. So you say, in that case, um, there are different ways to say it, but I hear you, or I am hearing you. Um, that's another way of saying I'm listening to you.
I'm all ears on you.
Yeah. It's just I'm all ears.
Oh, yes.
I'm
I'm
all ears is a colloquial, it's an idiom that means it means you are very interested in what the person is saying. So they're
okay.
saying something and you really want to know what that is. You can say, I'm all ears. That means I'm very interested in what you are saying to me.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Ron. I knew some interesting new expression from you that ultimately I can use in my daily casual conversations as you maybe know unknown about that because I'm doing conversations and uploading on my YouTube channels. And I enjoy to talk with the different nations peoples. And nowadays I'm talking with the natives because the natives are helping to us to improve our speaking fluency. So thank you very much for expressing all the words in different way.
It's a big challenge when you learn a new language.
Yes,
There's
really.
so many things. There's so many things that you can say. And I think it's good to listen to YouTube